50 Cent just roped Jennifer Lopez into Diddy's case, accusing her of allegedly having freak-offs with minors at Diddy's parties, and he brought some solid proof to back up his words. You all know that 50 Cent does not play when it comes to taking Diddy down, and this time he is also coming for Diddy's associates, including J.Lo. For a long time we thought that J.Lo's only involvement with Diddy was that 1995 shooting that set up Shyne to take the fall, but it looks like she may have continued to take part in Diddy's shenanigans long after they broke up. Get this, 50 Cent is also claiming that Ben Affleck knew about it. This is why he chose to leave J.Lo before everything came crashing down. But what exactly did Ben know about J.Lo's activities, and was Diddy really blackmailing J.Lo with the footage of her and the young boys? Well, at 50 Cent tell it, he has all the answers and why all won't believe the things he has to say now. If there's one person that we all know has had a history with Diddy, it's J.Lo. She and Diddy dated in the late 90s, and there have been many speculations about how she was Diddy's right-hand woman and knew more than she was letting on. It was kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde situation, and she was definitely the Bonnie to his Clyde, if you know what I mean. But for some reason, the true nature of the extent of her relationship with Diddy has always been kept securely under wraps. Sure, we knew that she and Diddy dated, but the streets have always talked about how there was more to the story than we knew, and how she's always had something to hide, especially with that 1999 shooting. So picture this: Diddy and J.Lo were out at a club in Times Square celebrating the soon-to-drop album of Shyne, Diddy's 21-year-old protege, who was still pretty new to the game, just like J.Lo at the time. But when they were leaving the club, Diddy, with a champagne bottle in his hand, accidentally bumped into a guy named Matthew Allen, better known as Scar in the street. Scar wasn't having it and pushed Diddy, and things popped off from there. Scar didn't take too kindly to this act of dental bump and pushed Diddy, and things started popping off from there. Then one of Scar's crew members decides to throw a stack of money in Diddy's face like confetti. Next thing you know, Diddy pulls out his shots, are fired. The chaos left 3 people in, including Natana Ruin, who was reportedly in the face by Diddy. Meanwhile, Diddy and J.Lo didn't stick around. As soon as the shots rang out, they dipped, hopping into a Lincoln Navigator with the gun stash in the trunk. Now here's the kicker: they weren't even caught for the shooting. At first they got pulled over because they ran a red light while trying to make a getaway. Talk about sloppy at the station. Diddy and J.Lo got their mugshots taken, and J.Lo was reportedly a home as crying all over the place. She was handcuffed to a pole at one point, and her mom showed up yelling at her in Spanish, "Told you to stay away from that man." Why? Even her mama knew that Diddy was bad news, and that he would take J.Lo down with him and be a negative influence on her. And why? She was definitely right about it. And get this, J.Lo allowed Diddy and his lawyers to use her name to get him out of his gun charges from the incident, according to reports. One of the lawyers said, "I don't know if you know this, judge, but this person, Jennifer Lopez, is a very famous actress. To think Mr. Combs is walking around with her with the loading. It's so ridiculous that it stretches the imagination." But for whatever reason, that defense worked, and Diddy got acquitted of all the charges. And as it turned out, J.Lo's part in the shooting went deeper than her letting him use her name to get off the charges, because in Little Rod's lawsuit he claimed that Diddy told him that J.Lo was the one who carried the gun in the club in the first place, and that she was the one who gave him the when he got into the altercation with Scar and told him to start. What Little Rod's lawsuit said he shared the artist and Mr. Coles's girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, aka J.Lo, carried into the club for him and passed him the after he got into a nation with another individual. Looks like J.Lo was in deep Bonnie hood with Diddy, because she also admitted in an interview that even though Diddy cheated on her while they were together, she was still crazy about him and would do anything for him. She said, "It was the first time I was with someone who wasn't faithful. I was in the relationship with Puff, where I was totally crying crazy and going nuts. I really took my whole life in a tailspin." Well, according to 50 Cent, J.Lo was crazy enough to do anything that he wanted, including allegedly taking part in these freak-offs. Even after they broke up, she allegedly continued to get involved with him on the low, and 50 Cent claims that even when J.Lo was married to other men, she was allegedly still involved with Diddy, and when he started to get involved in freak-offs, J.Lo was allegedly right beside him, according to the indictment documents. There were released by the feds. The defendant engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of toward women and other individuals. This was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and as part of his pattern of comes manipulated women to participate in highly aided performances of activity with male commercial workers. At times, Combs and others acting at his direction made arrangements for women and commercial to fly to Combs' location. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and to cut off the same, and using intimidation and VI. It further stated that the defendant covered up and carried out his and commercial activities using the company's assets, including certain workers. These workers included security personnel, house staff, personal assistants, high-ranking supervisors, and other close associates. These individuals served as Cum's intermediaries, and their actions were made possible by Cum's control over the company's assets. The federal government additionally revealed that they had been watching purportedly freak-off events for years, and that numerous musicians have participated in these events. According to the document, Combs, along with other members and associates of the company, used their power and reputation to entice women into his orbit, frequently posing as romantic partners. Combs then used force and coercion to force the women to engage in prolonged acts with male commercial workers, which he referred to as freakoffs. The episodes continued, sometimes lasting several days and frequently involving several business workers. Coles distributed a variety of controlled substances in part to keep the obedient and compliant. Sometimes unbeknown to the Combs kept videos he filmed of engaging in acts with commercial workers after freakoffs. Combs and the typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and used, while 50 Cent is now claiming that J.Lo was allegedly at the freakoffs. It was an active part at the parties. Not just that, but 50 Cent is now claiming that J.Lo's freak-off partners were not always of legal age, if you know what I mean, and according to an insider, not only does 50 Cent know all about this, but he volunteered that information to cops and handed over video footage of J.Lo in the freak-offs with young boys. Why? All one thing about 50, he is always going to hate on Diddy until the end of time, and this time is no different. He might have missed his call, and as a CIA agent, because he is going further than just trolling Diddy on social media, because him handing the footage to feds is going to get Diddy and J.Lo in even more trouble. Why? All the documentary of his is going to be wild when he finally releases it, cause this man has got a whole lot of tea that he's been saying he's not afraid to spill. According to an insider, it's being claimed that 50 Cent is giving information to his friends in Hollywood about the FBI's discovery of tapes showing Jennifer Lopez engaging in sexual relations with underage girls and boys at P. Diddy freak-off parties. Additionally, Jay was found in several of the naughty tapes that the FBI recovered during P. Diddy house raids. This is the reason Ben Affleck and Lopez are divorcing, as the FBI notified Affleck of the videos and possible future indictments. This helps to explain the rumors that J.O. and Ben were caught holding hands and kissing. Despite their divorce filing, it appears that Ben was trying to avoid becoming personally embroiled in this. You may recall the stories that stated that people in the know are flippant about Diddy and are trying to get deals done. Well, it appears that J.Lo.
My understanding is that there was a lot of individuals that were involved. And I think by looking at the indictment and seeing that only Sean Combs is the only defendant currently, who knows if that increases and it gets superseded with a different indictment. But currently there's only one defendant. My guess is that all of those individuals that could have been co-defendants or could have been co-conspirators or could have been involved in a RICO case have flipped on Sean Combs, and they're getting some sort of immunity.
Naturally, fans have been all over it and believe comments saying that J.Lo dated Diddy because she knew Kim Porter was still in a relationship with him. They also think that J.Lo sold herself to Diddy for fame, and now she is using him to shame J.O. Another person said that J.Lo was involved because she was with Diddy to launch her career, and it worked. She's such a narcissist that she knew what Diddy was like. Now that she's paying the price for working with evil, she shouldn't care because she achieved her goals, fame and fortune. But I was curious about your views as well. Do you truly believe that J.Lo Jenny from the block was out there with Diddy participating in this terrible behavior? Please share your ideas in the comments part below, and then watch the next video.